How's it, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome back to another episode of Geeking Out, where we basically discuss everything nerd and geek related. I'm here doing another segment on my collection, and I'm joined here by Nick and Dano, and they are at the shop Retro Wormhole. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing great.
Good. How's it going, Wayne?
Pretty good. This is Nick's third time on the channel, and this is Dano's first time.
Yeah.
So basically, this segment called My Collection, we're going to be talking about your guys' nerdy geek collection from when you first started collecting, what your favorite collectible is, what's that one holy grail collectible you're looking out for, and stuff like that. Since Dano, you're new to this, what made you get into collecting?
So I kind of didn't really have a choice. So when growing up, my parents they sold antiques and collectibles, and I was always going to yard sales, flea markets, antique stores. And at an early age, I remember like one of the first movies was Star Wars, the original trilogy. Loved it. My grandparents bought me some books. They'd read them to me, and I started collecting shortly after that.
Nice. Do you remember what the very first thing if you can remember that far back, do you remember what the very first thing you collected was?
Yeah, it was Star Wars. Yeah, it was so it was anything that I could get my hands on that was Star Wars. So I think my first things were the books that I mentioned, and then shortly after that, action figures and the Ewok plushies and all the movies and the vehicles, all of it. I had like a whole room when I was my room as a kid was like all Star Wars for sure.
Nice. What about you, Nick? How long have you been collecting for, and what was the first thing you ever collected?
Oh, I mean, when I was a kid, so kind of what happened to me was my parents decided to hone in on a couple of toy lines that they wanted to get me and narrow me into that corral. So I essentially had the original He-Man, original Transformers. I had a Voltron, an original one. And then I didn't have much in the way of GI Joes or Star Wars or anything like that. And I actually had some GoBots too that I honestly just learned the other day. One of what I thought I had when I was a kid, I thought it was Optimus Prime, was actually a GoBot.
And
Um,
didn't GoBots came before or after Transformers?
They came right before, but they knew Transformers were coming out, so Tonka rushed them to the market to try and preempt Transformers, and it didn't really work out for them. Actually, Hasbro owns the rights to GoBots today, and GoBots and Transformers actually live in the same universe.
Oh,
So in the comic books and in canon in that atmosphere, GoBots still exist, but they are part of the Transformers universe.
So eventually we could
Um,
see GoBots in a live action movie someday.
we could, and it's the same basic premise because all of the good GoBots, which I don't remember what they're were called, were all vehicles, and all of the evil GoBots were like could fly and stuff like that. Were like jets and planes and rockets and
Hmm.
you know. So it was kind of a similar thing. One Transformer that I always wanted that I never had was uh Decepticon Megatron. Obviously, because when I was a kid, it literally turned into a Walther pistol.
Oh, I remember you show
yeah.
me the Japanese made toy
Yeah,
that you're still wanted to get for the shop.
yeah. So I never got that one, and that stuck in my craw all these years. So as I got a little older, collecting consisted of essentially for me in my teen years, once I grew out of my He-Man and that stuff, consisted of comic books, and then I was big into radio controlled cars and RC racing, and worked at hobby shops.
Is
So
this
I was
the
around comic books, trains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
it.
Jeez, yeah, wow, yeah. I
Well,
just look
that's a newer reissue. We actually
Yeah,
have one of those in the store right
yeah,
now.
I was just looking this up on eBay, but that's like the fact he turns into, like, for anyone, I'll be showing a bigger picture, or you guys can show me a picture of yours, but yeah, that's basically what he turns into.
Yep, that's it.
So that's the it's called a
Masterpiece. It looks like.
MP36 Masterpiece Edition. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
one of those in the store, but the
Oh,
original, yeah,
Yeah.
and we have one of those in
Yeah.
the
I
store,
mean, that's
it.
how much that he's going for on eBay right now.
and that's a loose one. I have one in the box up high in the store for sale.
But still,
Yeah.
that the fact that that's like, oh yeah, here's a closer look. For anyone, again, I'll be showing a better picture.
Yeah,
But like, I mean, this is like stuff from like the 80s, late 70s that was built to last. Or, for example, GI Joe, which I had as a kid, who had like were connected by rubber bands between the waist and the chest and the legs.
Yeah.
but GI Joes are actually fairly easily repairable. 3.5-inch figures are actually fairly easily repairable. You can put a new O-ring in there. Masters of the Universe He-Man figures, way harder to fix when that rubber socket wears out in their legs when they fall off.
Oh,
Those
and
are
they get completely bow-legged.
yeah, those are way harder to fix. That Megatron that you just showed was actually the original one, was actually a fairly fragile figure.
Oh, it looks like he just barely tapping it would look like it would freaking shatter.
He had some crazy legs on him back then.
Oh, I believe it. Back to Dano.
Yeah.
Out of all the things you own, what's the most expensive one? Either you paid for it, or in today's market, it's up there in price.
Well, so a little backstory. So my collecting, like, I collected Star Wars as a kid, and like I would get all these, my parents would buy it for me, and I would go out and buy and sell things at a young age. And then I had like the complete, like, Star Wars, Empire, Jedi, and some Power of the Force from '85, which is the last 17. I had some of those, and then when I put it all in my closet when I was like mid-teenager because I was more interested in BMX bikes and hanging with my friends and girls and all that. So I got out of it. And then so when I turned 18, my dad kept pushing me like to get like a real job and blah blah blah. And so I started selling my
Is
stuff
this
off on
the
eBay.
toy you're talking, Power of the Force?
No, that's the 95. So I had all those too for a little bit because like how old was I? I was like 11. I was starting to get out of them around that time when those came out. But no, I'm talking about Power of the Force from '85. Those are the rarest ones. So like I sold everything off, and then I collected movies and things like that. And then now recently I've gotten back into collecting the original Star Wars again.
Oh, that one.
Oh yeah.
The one
So
that comes with
those are very hard to find.
Is that a coin?
Yeah, so the coins are actually quite valuable.
Oh
depending
wow.
on the figure.
Brand Kenner and goes for this character. Imperial Dignitary goes for $1,100.
Yeah, if it's in like a mint grade.
Yeah, I mean, just again, I'll show a bit of the picture, but yeah,
Yeah,
like
so those are like yeah, getting to that. So now that I'm collecting again and I have, I'm able to, I want to go for the complete set, and I want to actually, so Kenner made over 100 original figures. That includes after Power of the Force, they made droids and Ewoks. So it'd be really cool. My dream is kind of to have them all. Not necessarily all on the card. I do have some on the card, like this right here is my prize one right now. That's the original
Luke Skywalker in a very fancy looking case by the looks of it.
It's got to be. It's pretty hard to find. And that's the original back.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of my focus these days. And now like I just want to get, like I said, those original 100. Well, like between Star Wars through Jedi, I want to say there's 70 something, and I definitely want to get all those loose again, and the Darth Vader cases, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I have a buddy. He collects. Who was actually just recently on here for my collection. He showed me his like Star Wars Power of the Force toys that are like up on a wall.
Yeah,
like that's a lot.
I get it. Yeah. No, very cool stuff for sure.
Oh no, it looks like it. And again, that stuff was like built to last by the looks of it.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's like now we're in 2023, and this stuff is like much harder to find these days.
Oh, I believe it. Same question for you, Nick. What's the one expensive piece that you own or expensive piece that you have at the shop?
So, so yeah, similar. So a couple things. One thing I want to point out is like the franchises that I'm super into and have been into when I was a kid. It's kind of odd because I was always into Star Wars, but I was a Ghostbusters nut, and I loved Back to the Future, and I still do. That when Ghostbusters came out, there were no toys for Ghostbusters.
No, there wasn't. It wasn't until like what the second film or the animated series.
The animated series had toys, but again, my parents already had me locked into He-Man, and my cousin was getting Ghostbusters toys, and I wasn't getting any of them. And I think I still hold some a grudge about that because I'm still super into Ghostbusters. Back to the Future, there was absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like
Nope.
there was real Ghostbusters, and then when Ghostbusters 2 came out, there was Ghostbusters 2 figures. But by that time, by Ghostbusters 2 time, I was not really in that
Right.
market. Back to the Future never had any. It is still very limited what there is for Back to the Future. So Back to the Future people are more it's a little bit different breed. It's more around the art and diecast cars, DeLoreans, actual real cars,
Oh, yeah,
music,
I mean,
et cetera, et cetera.
Pepsi Perfect.
Yeah.
or like an
all
example
that.
of like this is called the Ghostbusters lot plasma series and others on Macari.
Yeah. Yeah. So I maintain a pretty large collection of um Ghostbusters and Back to the Future, but it's really not high end for the most part. I do have a few high end Ghostbusters items, but they're more modern. The Ghostbusters signs that we have one hanging in the window. They made 500 Ghostbusters Firehouse signs in 2019. I bought one. I recently sold it. So then I bought another one, artist proof. And then I ended up buying, there was 5 artist proofs made. So I ended up buying all 5 artist proofs. So I have 4 currently in the box, numbers 1 through 4, artist proof, and number 5 hanging in our window. Those are the most
Nice.
valuable thing that I have. Next, and a close runner up is the HasLab Proton packs that just came out.
Nice.
So I have complete setups for those. A couple of those as well. Those are more modern collectibles, and they will appreciate in value. Those things are, in my
Oh,
opinion,
yeah, no.
safe investments that are going to appreciate.
Whether you're wanting to buy it as a collectible or as a cosplay prop, I mean,
Correct. Yeah.
yeah, no. Looking back on it, the first time I ever seen any Ghostbusters toys was when the animated series came out back out in the 90s, and then when they revamped it in the late 90s with the modern Ghostbusters TV show back in the 90s.
Yep. It was few, and there wasn't Ghostbusters wasn't I don't feel ever managed in a way that really made its toy lines completely explode, with the exception of, I do remember when real Ghostbusters came out, that toy line was very popular, and I drank probably way too much Ecto Cooler.
Oh, me too. I
Um,
spilled it all over the floor once.
you
I
know,
remember. I love that stuff.
I'm looking at that stuff. Right, I'm looking at Ecto.
Oh, it was great.
So, but if you want to go back to old toys that I always wanted that I never had, we'd go back to the original Megatron. I did not acquire one until about 1 year into opening the Retro Wormhole. It evaded me, and it evaded
Is
me
this the
2 or 3 times.
when you're talking about?
Yeah, the little juice boxes. It was a juice box.
Yeah, I was like looking it up, and the first thing that popped up was a on eBay an Ecto Cooler High C
Yep.
Yeah.
magnet. It's a magnet.
I would own that.
Yeah, I want an original box.
I want that. I'm probably gonna order that as soon as we get
It's-
off the
It's
podcast.
like right now it's like $7 plus like $4 in shipping on eBay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What were you saying, Dano?
Oh, I would like to get an original box of the Ecto Cooler if you can find it, and a bottle of Pepsi.
I'm sure you. Well, I'm sure you could. I mean, I remember when I was stopping by the shop way while back, how Nick had that unopened box from the 1989 Batman film.
Oh, cereal or
I don't know what was it.
What
I
was
It
don't
it?
wa-
remember.
it was I think you had an unopened box and it came with like the Batman piggy bank from 1989. It was a cereal box, unopened, and it came with a
Oh.
little piggy
Oh,
bank.
and it had that little plastic piggy bank.
Mhm.
Oh, I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of those. Yeah.
We opened it, a bunch of roaches came running out.
You serious?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, I doubt that cereal tasted any, I doubt that cereal tasted any good after 30 years.
Right. No go.
Um,
So yeah, so once I opened the store, I actually was able to acquire. Eventually, I did. I had a gentleman bring in an original Megatron once, and I made him an offer on it, and I offered more than I normally would, and he wouldn't sell it to me. So,
oh, he
and
must
that's
like,
actually that guy actually brought me a bunch of GoBots too, and I made him an offer on the GoBots, and he was just too attached to him. He took he must have had 15 or 20
he
GoBots.
must have been collecting them since he was a kid, and
Oh, he had them since he was a kid, yeah.
and you're right there. That you can tell that is a serious collector. Like,
yeah.
and he showed me the Megatron. He wouldn't even let me touch it. He wouldn't let me transform it, and then he wouldn't sell it to me. So then I was
he must have like
list it
he
again,
must have
maybe
like
someday.
he must have wanted to really, because those old toys, you know. And speaking of, to you, back to Dano, even though it may not be worth a lot, what is the most valuable thing you own to you? It may not be a lot, but to you, it has like a lot of sentimental value.
I don't know. I would probably say like my movie collection. I really enjoy it. So I've always been a huge movie fan. So I have a pretty extensive collection at home that I quite enjoy. Yeah.
Nice. Same thing for you, Nick. What's that one collectible that you find that has sentimental value? Like it's not worth a lot, but you still think it's worth something.
I've had, and when I was, I think 14, I bought a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 19. It was not a great, it wasn't in great condition, but I just remember thinking how amazing it was to own something that old that had 12-cent cover price and was wider than a modern comic book, and I held on. I bought, there was other comics that I bought that I probably should have held on
It's this the
first appearance. Yeah, that's it. I have, yeah. Like I had that, and I had the first appearance of Spawn, and you know what? I didn't, not Spawn, Venom. I didn't hold on to the first appearance of Venom. I should have. Now I don't know what grade it was, but I did hold on to Amazing Spider-Man number 19, and I think X-Men number 27 or something like that. Anyway, I still have that copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 19. I actually just had it graded. It graded at like a 3, but it's cool to own. It's a couple $100 comic. It's not it it's anything that old is a key issue at this point.
oh yeah,
So it's not, Amazing Spider-Man number 1 signed
which is
Stan Lee or anything, but it's a cool old book.
no. And speaking of
Yeah.
comics, wait, what were you going to say, Dano?
Oh, I was rethinking what you said too, like movies, obviously, but you said one item. I guess it would be I have Clerks on Laserdisc, and I have it on the wall. And I
Wait,
really,
the 94. Wait, it came out in 94, right?
yeah, and I have it on
On Laserdisc?
Yeah,
I didn't know they
we
had.
could go into a rabbit hole with Laserdisc.
Yeah, if you want to go, you don't want to go into the
We
laser
didn't
disc
even
rabbit
bring
hole.
up-
No. I
With
remember the
those
first
two, yeah,
time.
we could go for days.
I remember I got to talk a little about Laserdisc. I remember the first time I ever saw anything Laserdisc. It was Temple of Doom, mom's ex-boyfriend, and I've seen it prior, but I really wanted to watch it on Laserdisc. So I was like, "Hey, can we watch this? Like, have you seen it before?" It's like, "No." I just wanted to watch it. I just wanted to watch Temple of Doom on Laserdisc.
Yeah,
I think we might have it.
we could. I think we can do that. Like,
I think we
let's
actually
do that.
have.
Yeah, we
it.
have working players, so
And speaking of comics, I know that you guys at the shop don't have any comics, but I remember Nick, you showing me when you got that Super Mario comic. that like came out in the 80s.
Still there.
Yeah.
It's got a not for sale tag on it.
Yeah,
It's not even, it's just goofy,
it's fun.
but
It's
I mean, that comic is going to be valuable because Nintendo has always historically been on such lockdown with their licensing and marketing.
oh yeah, I mean from being from being like a card company to being probably one of the most well-known video game companies out there over the past 40 years.
Yeah, and you got to I mean, fun fact, I'm sure a lot of your listeners already know this, but we have people come in all the time because we sell a lot of Funko Pops.
Yeah.
There are Pokemon Funko Pops.
Mm-hmm.
People constantly asking for Nintendo related Funko Pops.
And there's not a whole lot.
Legend of Zelda, Super Mario.
Nope, none. Only Pokemon so far is the only one I know of.
Well,
Yeah, and that's because Nintendo only owns like a third of Pokemon. So a lot of people don't know Nintendo was one of the founding companies for Pokemon. There was 3 companies, okay? But they're not the primary owner.
Mm-mm.
That's why Pokemon games only appear on Nintendo. But Nintendo has not licensed anything.
Oh no, give it
Super Mario, Zelda, or any other Nintendo properties.
Give it time. Shortly, when the Mario Brothers movie comes out, the new one, you're gonna see Funko Pops left and right for Super Mario Brothers movie.
I bet you don't.
no, I bet you don't. Because
I'll take
of
that
amiibos.
bet.
Amiibos.
They'll pump their amiibo.
Oh,
Yeah,
God. I remember. I remember seeing amiibos.
They got their amiibos, and that's where they get.
All right, yeah. Another one. I'll start with Nick. What's the biggest thing you own? Either you own it, or it's the biggest thing at the shop.
Oh, well, there's 2 things. One would be the Firehouse sign,
Which I remember
which
seeing
is
you guys.
32 by 32. It's the Ghostbusters Firehouse sign, the No Ghost logo. And then the other thing would be we have a life-size Watto from Star Wars.
Oh, that's right.
In the store that was actually part of a Pepsi promotion.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
It's become very. They don't do stuff like that anymore. Like this thing is like crazy. Like
Oh no,
the big stand, and it looks like he's flying. So he stands like 6 feet up in the air. All these things were supposed to get trashed at the end of the promotion.
Oh, that's right. I remember when episode 1 came out, they even had an Imperial battle droid soda container. It was in the shape of the droid tank thing they see in the during the Battle of Naboo. And you open it and it comes out, the slots come out, and it has like, you could put your sodas on, then you could put like a battle droid head on top of the soda can.
They also had an R2 that was the same way.
Yep, and R2, I think, was an R2 cooler.
It was beat up though, so I got rid of it.
Yeah, and for those who are wondering what their water looks like, I will be showing a picture of their water that they have hung. If you don't mind me asking, how much is that water for sale, or is it like just he's part of the shop now?
I mean, he's pretty much part of the shop. I would entertain, he's worth about $2,000.
That seems fair. I mean, he's life size. So aside from the shop, what's the biggest thing you own personally?
Oh man. I don't know. Ask Dano that question. Let me think on it for a minute.
All right, Dano. What is the biggest thing you own personally?
Well, there's a Terminator arm that I'd like to say it's mine.
We're
gonna fight.
Are you talking about the Terminator arm that I just
Yeah,
I saw in the shop?
And I collect movies like
we're half owners on that.
Yeah. There was a deal, and
there's a deal while I was out of town where Terminator arm came in, and I claimed half to it. So we're gonna have to fight over that. The biggest thing I
love this thing.
Actually, the biggest thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's so cool. It's T2.
The biggest thing I own.
Oh, is it
is my HasLab pack?
Is it that one?
That's one like it. I don't know if that's it.
I don't know. This is like 20. It's a 21-inch.
No. We have the full size.
No, that's about right. It's probably 21 inches.
Yeah, maybe.
But it was a recent release.
Oh, found it. That one.
Yeah, what's that? Oh yeah, see,
there's that price.
All right, let me see if I can.
We put it up as high as we could in the store.
Going up and valued it.
because it's one of those items we're not in a hurry to
Yeah,
sell.
here's a closer up picture.
Yeah, it's so
And
cool.
people are constantly asking how much it is, even though it's literally at the top of the store. And we have
Right, I
18
mean,
ceilings.
on
So
on eBay, someone's asking about 700 for it.
Yeah.
yeah, that's one of those items that we feel 5 to 10 years from now is going to be like 2K.
Oh yeah.
Could
I mean,
be.
but yeah, I'm looking at it. It's yeah, it's like $700 on eBay.
Mhm.
And I'm sure
There's a lot of
I'm sure you can find it for even more. And that's just
Probably.
an eBay price.
Yeah. We're not gonna sell it.
It's not selling.
No. It's yeah.
Yeah,
it's
so
Oh,
the
yeah.
biggest thing I own personally is going to be my HasLab pack.
Oh, your proton pack?
Yeah,
Oh wow. Yeah, and here's
also the heaviest.
and here's one from T2 Judgment Day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and this one's going for
Much.
2,300.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
I need that one.
Now we talked about the biggest. What's like the smallest thing you own?
Well, it's not really toy related. I own a couple of coins from the BC era, and they literally look like, some of them are metal, some of them are just like chiseled stones.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And they've been preserved, they're in holders, they're graded.
Nice.
But you could barely tell that they were money. But I mean, you think about that. They don't even know the exact year they were made, so there's a range of like 400 BC to 20 AD or something. I can't remember exactly. So essentially, those coins are 2,000 years, at least 2,000 years old.
Nice. Speaking of coins, I think my favorite coin that you guys own at the shop is that the PlayStation 20th year anniversary coin.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
still
like
have,
that
yeah.
too.
Oh, that thing that's probably one of my favorite sought after your guys' shop, aside from the claptrap robot you have.
I think we sold the claptrap. I think we're out of claptracks currently.
I know you also still have that Nuka-Cola bot from Fallout as well.
Yep, Nuka-Cola. I'm looking at him right now. We do still have the Nuka-Cola.
Nice.
Fallout's got their marketing and presentation game online. They do some really cool stuff with their characters.
Nice. Same question for you, Dana. What's like the smallest thing you own?
Well, making me think. I guess the smallest, like the original Yoda, is pretty small. So.
Oh, like the one that's like what, at least
Yeah.
3, 4 inches?
Yeah, he's tiny. No, he's like smaller than all the other guys. I don't think I have him here with me, but
Would you say he's like the size of I mean I got this is what I got the shopping. Would you say he's like the size of 8-bit Mario?
yeah, he's smaller probably. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, by the way, this is probably one of my favorite things I bought from your guys' store.
Cool.
Was it was a
When you
little
bought
8,
it.
was it a little 8-bit Mario? I remember someone thought this was an amiibo, but it wasn't.
Is it just a little figure?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had them before. I don't remember what the name of that
I
line
think I've
was.
seen it. I
It's
just don't
funny.
remember what it was from.
Yeah, it's funny to some of the stuff that Nintendo does license to. Like, I don't remember the company that made those 8-bit Marios.
Look, let's see, I can actually look. Tim, it's from 2015. It's made in China. It's a licensed Nintendo toy because it's got that you know, I mean if you look, it's got it's got the Nintendo like license in the back.
Yeah.
It's got that copyright license.
Yeah, and
it's
we actually have a couple more of those.
Jack's it's
Okay.
Jack's Santa Monica.
Jack's, that's
Jax.
it.
Yeah, Jax makes all sorts of okay.
It's that
Okay.
same company that those are made by.
All rights reserved, but it's legally owned by Nintendo because it has that copyright signal, which is my least favorite word because thanks a lot YouTube.
Well, that shouldn't be your least favorite word. Copyrights and trademarks. So we actually just got we are pretty far along in the trademark process for the Retro Wormhole.
Nice. Well, I'm just talking about like how I usually get a copyright hit. Anyway, that's entirely something. Well, I'm glad that you guys are getting the Retro Wormhole name copyrighted.
Yeah, Nick worked hard at that. So.
Oh, I mean,
it's like a 2-year process.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
We're only it's not done yet. We've made it to the next stage of Dancing with the Stars.
Nice. Back to you, Dano. I know you kind of talked about it earlier. What's that one holy grail item that you've been looking for so long?
So an original, so the Power of the Force line 1985 Yak face. It was
Who?
only made in Canada.
Wait,
It's last I was looking online, they're 500, 700 and up. So I've
wait,
never
wait. What's it called?
Yak face. It's
Yak?
yeah, YAK face, and it was from Canada.
I'm looking Yak face power of the force.
You see it, you'll be like, oh,
Oh.
it's one of the
Oh.
most sought after originals.
Oh yeah, he is going for $160 right now on eBay.
That's probably a bid, or that's maybe not. That's not an original. So go to
Oh,
original.
all right. But would this be okay? I found one. I found one on Macari. It's loading.
Go to eBay. Go to
Yak Face original 1984 Star Wars release with staff.
Yeah, there you go. That's
he's
the price.
He's
and that
worth,
guy's loose.
That's a bet. Is he graded? That could be just an overpriced. Because like loose, they're usually about 700 unless he's graded. Then maybe it might be.
I don't see anything about it
Yeah, they're
being
graded loose AFA.
I don't see original loose Star
AFA.
Wars power.
Since Action Figure Association, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it, but I'm sure. But that's like the
I
original.
might get this graded eventually, though.
So that's like the original.
Yeah, that's the original. That's a Macari price, though. I feel like so. If you go on eBay, they're probably 5 to 7.
Oh, I'm sure, but
Yeah,
like still,
some stuff's cheaper on Mercari, and
Yeah.
some stuff's cheaper.
For a Kenner,
Macari's interesting.
for a toy that he looks for a. I could tell this wasn't mass produced because it doesn't look like there's a lot of him.
There's not a lot. No, it's one of the. It is like probably the hardest to find.
Oh, I
So
believe it.
someday, I just have to get a good deal on it. That's all.
Oh yeah, he does not. Yeah, I'm looking at him, but
I think he
can't
was
really.
in Jabba's palace.
Yeah, it shows him. I think he was on Jabba's sail barge.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm looking him up.
Sail
Yeah,
barge.
like he's
He
going for
blew
a
up.
lot of different prices on. Oh, all right.
I think
I
they average 5 to 7.
found it. Yeah, someone's asking vintage Kinder Star Wars Yak Face. Someone's asking 800 for him.
Yeah, that sounds about. Yeah.
What about you, Nick? What's your holy grail item that you're looking for? Whether it's for yourself personally or for the shop.
An actual DeLorean?
For the shop.
No, that would be for myself. Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to own one. I've had opportunities in the past. I never bought one. They've skyrocketed in value. I don't know that I want to be in the market for one. They're really not a reliable car. They require a lot of maintenance.
Oh, and I'm sure Julie would be telling you got to clean it yourself.
It would be amazing to own one.
Oh, I'm
It'd
sure.
also be amazing to own an old Cadillac hearse and convert it into
Ecto 1
or Ecto 1A. I come from a car, I was super into cars growing up, so any, Knight Rider, a lot of cars, the A-Team van.
Hell, you're talking to someone who still wants to ride in a Batmobile.
An original Batmobile, the Adam West Batmobile.
Oh, for me, it would probably be the '89 Batmobile.
The '89 one is extremely cool.
Yeah, I remember watching.
That would be a close runner up for me in terms of Batmobiles. But I think overall, I would probably, I'd probably pick the DeLorean. I never thought I'd own, Ghostbusters Firehouse signs replicas that were worth, upwards of $2K. And now I find myself with 5 of them. So nothing's out of the question, because the great part about what we do is we get to own all these things. And the way I look at it is anything that I own,
Mm-hmm.
I don't own it. I'm just borrowing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here temporarily, so I don't get to own it forever.
Oh, true.
Um, so I might as well not hoard it for my entire life. I might as well own it for a while, get some enjoyment out of it, and then sell it to someone who's going to appreciate it. And then I find something else in my life that I would like to own.
Oh no, I
And
totally get it.
I continually do that
For
because
sure, yeah.
that's what that enriches my life. I don't need to own one thing for my whole life and keep others from owning it is the way
Oh no.
is the terms I've come to. We never really own anything because we're not here forever.
Oh no, I totally get it. And I know there are times where there are certain items come into the shop and you and Julie were like, yeah, I think that was gonna come home with me.
And it does. A lot of stuff comes home
we
with me
all-
for a
we all
while, and
do
then
that.
I bring it back to the store.
Yeah, I
Happens
do
with-
that all the time.
You know, we're doing this podcast. We're talking about toys and collectibles, but and the comic book shop is next door. We don't sell
Mhm.
comics, but what we do sell here, we sell a lot of records, we sell a lot of tapes, we sell a lot of
Oh, yeah.
CDs. That's
Love
the part of the
music.
business we're not talking about. I'm super into music. But we sell a lot of movies too. Dano knows the movies better than I do.
Video,
Mhm.
Video games,
I
but
love
like
video games. Yeah.
you know, for me, taking home music, it's something that I can put on, listen to passively while I'm doing something else. So
Speaking
the
of,
hardest thing for me to bring back to the store is
hey,
really music.
oh no, speaking of, because you get a lot of records, what's your favorite collected record that you have that you either own or you have at the shop?
Oh, well, we have original copy of we have David Bowie's first album up on the wall. It's about a $500 album.
Whoo!
He's
think you
literally
could see
like
it, yeah.
18 or 20 years old.
Do
Yeah,
you
you
have-
can see it. You can see it. It's
You're-
the third one in,
Yeah.
just below the Attack of the
that hairdo.
50-foot woman, the really young guy on the
That's
album with the
Bowie.
blue background.
The one the picture right
Yeah.
below the Batman symbol.
Look at that hairdo.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Not below the
I'll
Batman
no,
single,
no.
below the yellow poster. You see below the
So
yellow
right
poster?
next to my
Oh, okay, yeah, this is the one. Oh, okay, I see the one with
Right
the
there.
one with the blue background.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Right there.
and
Yeah,
then
I see it. Wow, yeah. 500 bucks? That's not. Is that thing lined with Stardust?
no, it's just a first press and there's I mean in terms of vinyl or in terms of records, you know, I don't have anything worth too much more than that. I will say the funny thing about records is the most valuable record I've ever sold or the store has ever sold is actually a Taylor Swift album.
So for anyone who's wanting to look at a closer picture, this is the album that they're talking about.
That's it.
Yep. There's an original press
Oh
up
yeah,
on the
and
wall
here
behind Dan.
and yeah, right. Yeah, here
there.
is one that comes with the song sheet, the case, and right now on I don't know what site this is, but it's going for like $400.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
about
that's
right.
not as good as shape though. See that? Right there, the condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a $400 to $600 album all day long, and there's not really that many. It's not Bowie as we know him. It's just his first album. He's pretty much more square.
Before
that album came.
before that the hair color change, the
Yeah,
makeup.
that's like
and-
Beatles era Bowie.
Beatles era.
like 1966.
Even the Bee Gees sounded like the Beatles for a bit.
Oh man. So we kind of talked about comics. Now on to memorabilia, whether it's movie memorabilia or whether it's an autograph. Starting with Dano, do you own any autographs or favorite memorabilia from movies?
Yeah, I have a autographed by the artist Guardians of the Galaxy comic book that I actually got next door. And then I also have Jay's autograph on Mole Rats that I found actually in a bargain bin movies. And I opened it. I heard there was a rumor it was floating around somewhere, and I found it. I opened it, and there is autograph right on the DVD. So
Is that a legit autograph?
it's legit, yeah. He
Nice.
signed a lot of stuff, so it's not like, anything super rare, but it's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I don't think Dano does either. We don't get too tied up in autographs, but
Not really,
I mean,
but I like him.
I have an autographed copy of Jay and Silent Bob reboots signed by Kevin Smith that I
didn't know
know
you
is
had that.
yeah, it was
That's
it
cool.
was gifted to me.
That's cool.
I didn't know you had that.
Never mentioned that.
I also
Stay
know
away,
like you
man.
had like
No, I was like, what?
for a while.
Um,
I know you guys also had signed Funko Pops. One of them being signed by Gabriel Iglesias.
the yeah,
Why do we have
what's his
Oh yeah.
his
Fluffy?
pops Fluffy, that's it.
Fluffy.
Fluffy, but that's my cat. Fluffy's pop. So Fluffy signs pops and then puts them on his website and sells them.
Yeah.
And then we've acquired some through
I've seen
purchases
them.
of collections. And he's got a great following. They sell. I mean, they sell for $250, $300, $400 all day.
Oh yeah, a signed
Right now-
a signed Funko Pop can go for a lot too.
Yeah, and like even right now, we have some early Funko Pops. So we're getting a little bit, we're still doing a lot of the same stuff that we were, and we have price points for everyone in the store, but we've got some, we just sold an original Millennium Falcon Lego set that was, out of production.
Ooh.
That went for a lot of money. We have an original Lego Imperial Star Destroyer up on the shelf right now that's pricey. We've got, and I think Dano's going to grab, we've got a Funko Skeletor pop that's like it's a Comic-Con pop from I think is it 20
Is
This is amazing.
you can
2013.
oh is this the
Yeah.
is that the one right there you're talking about?
Yeah, so that's an $1,800 pop.
Oh, wow. And then this is a Millennium Falcon you're talking about, classic.
Yeah.
Uh
Is that it?
it's a retired, what's the price on it?
270.
No, that's not it.
That's not it.
We
It's in the box.
We had one in the box sealed that went for around $2,500.
Oh, come on, load. Oh,
Yeah. There's the price point.
Yeah, but that one has been pulled out of the box.
So it was,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and it has like the original yellow skin Lego.
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Ours
it.
was in the original shipper.
Oh, I believe it, but I can tell this one looks like it was already built, and so this is more of like a display piece of what they have.
Right. There's some built ones out there. It's still worth money, but it's worth more if it's in the original sealed package. So there's collectors that we know, a number of collectors that like to take all their stuff out of the box.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you'll see that.
We have small fits about it sometimes. We like to take some stuff out of the box, but
It conditions everything in collectibles.
Oh, I 100% believe that. Any movie memorabilia you guys have at the shop?
What about Terminator arm?
Oh, aside
Yeah.
from the Terminator arm.
Terminator.
Oh, you also
I've got-
have you also don't you still have the journal from Indiana Jones?
We do
Last
have a
Crusade?
journal.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
I have
cool.
the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade journal. It's not super collectible. You can get them. I mean, it's cool. I love owning it. It's like the original wad that you see in the movie, and you can all the maps.
It's great for display piece, or someone
Yeah.
who's ever wanted to cosplay as Indiana Jones himself.
Feature set up there.
Yeah, we have one thing that we have, it's not movie, but so recently I started I like to collect skateboard decks too.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I have a complete set of Voltron skateboard decks. So there's 6 decks. It's all
Ooh.
5 lions. Each lion has its own deck, and then one deck that's completed Voltron.
It's
which-
amazing. I remember I used to have the toy
Have
of
you
that
seen
one.
it? Have you seen the decks?
I think have. I always come in there when I can. I'll be coming there on. Oh man, that's really cool. And also, I have to say, I do love your guys's life size Black Series Darth Vader helmet.
Yeah, we have
Lots
a
of
couple of
helmets.
those. We move
Lots of
helmets pretty good here.
helmets seem to sell.
They
Well,
kind of slowed down recently, but
They still sell.
everyone wants the Mandalorian helmet right now. I have two more just shipped. We got two more.
for anyone wondering, this is not. We're not just talking about their collection. We're also talking about the stuff they have around the shop. So this is kind of
Yeah.
like a part, a 2.0 of the Retro Wormhole interview as well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say once I opened the store, it just became fluid because there's not a lot. There's some stuff at my house that I retain, but it
Whoa.
it's mainly for decorating purposes. If I have it squirreled away at my house, it eventually comes back to the store
And you
unless
have-
it's part of the display.
You have things in here you don't really want to sell too.
Well, I mean, like the Mario comic book. That's not for sale.
Yeah, and that's not even that valuable. We
No,
just
it's
know
just
we're never
cool.
gonna see one again, or we're
Oh,
not.
no.
It's
Just
not
we get
likely.
some more.
Yeah,
And not to mention, you guys just got recently 4 arcade cabinets: Pac-Man, TMNT, the what was it, the Simpsons one, and the Terminator one, with
Yeah.
the actual with
and,
like the,
and
that
we
looks
have
like.
a cocktail table of Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, like I said,
Um,
not many places I know in this, especially here in Medford, have not like one, but like 5 arcade machines.
well, they're modern machines. They're arcade one-up machines, but
But they're
no.
they're made to look like the classics. Plus, you also guys got themed bar stools to go with each one.
Yeah, well, I'm a big believer that we have a great display window, the fish bowl, I call it.
Don't tap on the
And
glass
Julie
anymore.
doesn't like me call it. She's like, it's more like a fish tank. I'm like, well, it's a fishbowl sounds
Just
better.
don't tap on the glass because you'll scare the customers.
Yeah. So
Sure.
the fish bowl, I like to use it to attract attention. So
And it definitely attracts attention. I remember just
Yeah.
even if I don't go in the store and I walk by, it's like this is perfect.
and I hear
see
it all the
people
time.
almost crash in the
Yeah, people come in like I've been wanting to come in here. I see your window. I see people, rubbernecking when they drive by.
the whole way just looking up, paying attention.
Well, I mean, you also got you got your neighbors Steve and Jimmy right next to you. So, and the best thing
great.
is you walk through that main door and then you got option 1 or option 2.
Yeah,
True.
they're. I will say they're both the red pill. There's no blue pill.
I was just about to. Hey, beat me to it, Devin. You should put like a red pill and a blue pill sign above each door.
That'd be actually awesome. With the hand.
just have Morpheus.
Yeah, the hand holding the that'd be cool.
That would be cool, but yeah, I don't know any other store or just place. Well, I mean, you got the mall and they have their arcade. You got the movie theater and they have their arcade, but you don't know many places aside from like pizza joints that have like classic looking arcade machines.
There's less and less of that too.
There
Even at
and
the
the
pizza places now.
like I remember going to like the mall as a kid or going to Round Table and playing games like Crazy Taxi, which which I hope you guys can get one of these days because that's
I
a
love
fun
that game. That game's great, and it's all Offspring.
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack.
But the fact that you guys have,
it's Offspring.
I mean, the fact that you guys have so much.
I didn't remember that. And I'm a huge Offspring fan, so that's amazing. We have an Offspring poster hanging in the store from the Americana tour.
Nice.
That literally has my ticket stub.
Oh yeah,
from the Metro in Chicago in 1998 taped to it.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. And I mean, and every time I always come to your guys' shop, there's always new stuff. And for those who are watching, Retro Wormhole is the only shop in town that has over 1,000, if not more, Funko Pops.
Yeah, we're consistently around 2K, 2,000 Funko Pops, probably 10,000 records. I don't know, 100 or more Lego sets at a time.
And you guys are also getting like lightsabers, video game helmets. You even have which I think is probably still my favorite, the Scorpion bus from Mortal Kombat 10.
Oh, it's in the window. That's in the window. Yep.
And then, you know, you got the arcade machines. You have
The arcade machines in the window is kind of that's a bit of a pilot program too, because everyone around here has been wanting a barcade. Um,
if you
so I'm just testing the waters to see what the response is, because the overhead and the cost of the machines to open a straight up arcade, to get all the pinball machines, like I would love to
it's a
do it.
lot of money. There's a place in Sacramento, I know a few other places. It's called the Coin Op. It's a bar and grill slash coin operated arcade, but for like, you know, which is cool. Bar and grill slash arcade.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
just to
don't
give
know
you an
many.
idea, I follow Stern Pinball, which is the only remaining. They're pretty much the only remaining pinball manufacturer in the world. They're based in Chicago. I think they bought. I don't know if they bought out Bally Midway and the other pinball machine brands, but they're pretty much the only one producing pinball machines, and they still produce them in Chicago.
Oh wow.
A new pinball machine, um, each one costs around $10,000.
I haven't played a pinball machine since, well, I think the last pinball game machine I ever played was arcade for Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah.
And that was
They're
like
still making new ones, but
that was
they're
at a
very
local,
expensive.
and this was like
There's
this is like one of the old ones.
Yeah, and if you go to Portland, there's actually arcades. There's pinball arcades that do tournaments.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
There
I have
is
a
a
few friends who
whole
live out there.
business around maintaining. Like there's pinball mechanics. Like all they do is maintain those. I mean, they're more maintenance than a traditional arcade
Oh,
cabinet.
I believe
And
it.
the traditional arcade cabinets, they don't make a lot of those
Oh no,
anymore.
and not.
So
I
a
mean,
lot of those you're going with older ones.
look at all the parts that you got goes into an old fashioned arcade machine. Like you got you know, you got the coin mechanism, you got the coin slot, the coin holder, and all the wires. Actually, I want to ask: have you had any customers actually ask if those are for sale? The ones you have?
Oh, it probably happens 10 times a week. My plan right now is to rotate them out once a year, sell off the ones that we have,
Ooh, I can't wait
and
to see.
order in new
I can't wait to
ones.
see you. I can't wait to see you guys get a Mortal Kombat 2 one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat and
that's on
Tron
the-
are on the top of the Mortal
Ooh.
Kombat, Tron, and what's the Killer Instinct?
You can't sell Terminator.
Oh, and
We
also
already
that
have a buyer for Terminator. We're gonna have to buy
there's
another
also
one.
that Area 51 game too.
Area 51. What's the Aerosmith game? NWO, New World Order.
Oh
Don't
wow.
give up. Steven Tyler yelling at you all the time. All of that is,
Give up.
is
Oh
on the list.
man.
But I can't. I've reached out to Arcade One Up to get a wholesale account, and they haven't responded. So
I know big companies like that from experience trying to get a hold of like bigger name people, bigger name companies. It's not always easy because you're getting thousands, if not more, messages a day.
well, it's not just that they sell their arcade cabinets at Best Buy and Walmart, and they really don't care about the retro.
And then not to mention you got like, you know, you got those medium size, like 12-inch arcades. I've seen the one on Walmart for Mortal Kombat 2 go for $50, like the, you know,
Oh, those are
the medium sized ones.
there's a whole collectors group for those
That
too.
they're the ones that take batteries.
Yeah, but there's
I
a
want some original.
specific brand that's actually become fairly collectible, and the name is escaping me right now.
Well, so back to this instead of probably just putting your guys' name in the thumbnail, I'm just gonna put my collection Retro Wormhole. Because a good chunk of what we're talking about is, you know, featuring, you know, your guys' names. So yeah, back to what I was saying. And so I guess last but not least, starting with Dano, any advice for anyone who wants to get into collecting?
Just collect really what you like, you know, just do it for fun. And mine, like I said, when I was young, it was just Star Wars was one of the things I was really drawn to, and I really enjoy movies, so I stick with the things that I enjoy. I'd say that's the best advice.
Pretty good advice. Same question for you,
Get a
Nick.
good deal.
Huh?
Get a good deal if
Buy
you can.
low, sell high.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
good.
like, it's hard for me to spend I don't know.
I mean, a good chunk of the stuff I
Yes.
own is like
Yeah, it's just-
I mean, hell, half the stuff I collect is from you guys, and I always get a good deal
Good
from you
deal.
guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, same question for you, Nick. Advice for those who are wanting to collect, whether they're, younger or someone my age and they're wanting to start collecting.
I would say don't collect indiscriminately. Focus on something you like. Focus on, you know, whatever you like. Focus on stuff that's maybe less collectible, but that you can buy for a relatively cheap cost and enjoy.
Yeah.
And then buy some higher end stuff that you set aside.
Yes.
Because if you buy the cheaper stuff and you can actually play with it and wear it out, then you don't wear out your more collectible stuff.
True.
Don't have, we just talked about this, don't have FOMO, don't collect everything indiscriminately because you've got fear of missing out.
We see it.
We see it all the time.
Well, I
Buy what
imagine you.
you
I imagine
like.
you do.
Yeah, we
Don't
see it.
and don't like with Funko Pops are a perfect example. Don't feel like you have to own every Funko Pop. You'll make yourself
Oh
crazy.
God,
Don't even feel like you need to own every Disney Funko Pop because
I've
you'll
seen
literally your
I've
head will
seen
explode.
pictures and videos on TikTok and Instagram where people will literally have one wall covered in Funko Pops. I'm just
Sure.
like, holy fuck.
I know some guys like that. Yes.
I
Yeah, I
can't
know
do
people with
that.
thousands and thousands of Funko Pops
Yeah.
because they have they're obsessive about it, and
Hell,
it doesn't work.
my
You can't,
my
you can't
wall
collect
on
that way.
my wall on top of my dresser, I have like over 30. I have like 20-ish Funko Pops just that are like stacking really high from
Sure.
the small ones to like the regular size ones to like, you know, the medium sized ones.
Let me give you like an example. Like I'm trying to put together a complete run of the original Star Wars comics, from the original series, the original early '80s run, late '70s, early '80s run that Marvel did. There's 107 plus one that was issued later, so there's 108 comics. I know I need to get 108 comics. And I can throw a few extras in there because I can get them at various grades. I can get them at newsstand. I can get them with UPCs. Well, UPCs have newsstand, or the comic book shop ones don't have a UPC on them. But I know there's
A UPC,
108
what's that?
total. What? A UPC, a barcode.
Oh, I'm like, what's
The ones with the barcode are actually worth more because they tend to get more banged up because they were sold in like convenience stores and stuff. Anyway, I know there's 108. I have a goal that I can achieve. With Pops, if you want to collect, you need to pick a set that's retired that you can collect and know they're not going to re-release it and make more of them, or it's going to, you can't just collect in perpetuity with Funko Pops. It would be like me saying, I want to collect all the original Star Wars Marvel came out with, plus everything they have now. There's 8 different Star Wars comic book lines that Marvel releases every month right now.
I believe it.
I can't even understand what's going on with
I remember when I got the special editions of the sequels, episodes 4, 5, and 6 on DVD for like a Christmas gift. It came with the comics of episode 4, 5, and 6. They were reproductions, because you can tell they were made specifically for the special edition DVD set. But I didn't know there was such thing as Star Wars comic books until I saw the reproductions that came with the special edition DVD set.
Yeah, it wasn't. I feel like it wasn't that popular back in,
No.
It actually wasn't a huge line. I mean,
you can collect the Return of the Jedi's and ones. I
already have them.
All the mini ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of them. There's any limited series; those are easy to collect,
right?
But it just I try to collect things that are finite in terms of their availability. So,
basically, you're collecting because it's something you enjoy.
Yeah, and it's not all comic books, but comic books is a good example. It's the one that I can kind of.
It's probably like the second most sought after collectible aside from Funko Pops, just in general.
Probably.
Yeah, I would throw, in terms of I think music falls in that category. I think vinyl records, not to a certain extent, tapes are getting to that point.
And
CDs, not so much.
video games are on that list too, because there are even video games
Oh,
that
video games, absolutely, yeah.
there are video games where if you pay like 100, 200, $300, you get like the whole like collector's bundle that comes with the game, a steel case, a book, another book, a music, and like
Action
a,
figure.
a 12-inch a 12-inch to 14-inch
Yeah, display.
display figure. Like I have a friend who got one from the recent Horizon game. Like
Oh yeah.
it came with like the giant mech.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like yeah, that's considered a collectible. Not the game itself, but like the collector's edition of a game is considered a collectible if you're willing to fork over like the $200 to $300.
Exactly.
Well, it's like that Mortal Kombat, that Scorpion bust you brought up. That was part of a PlayStation release for I think
Mm-hmm.
Mortal Kombat 11. And
Mortal Kombat. I think it was Mortal Kombat 10.
Maybe it was 10. It was probably okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
That
no.
is that it came in a big box, right?
Mm-hmm.
That if I the game, I don't have the game that was in the box.
Same with
The
that.
game that was in the box it's different. It's a steelbook Mortal Kombat with a removable metal magnetic medallion on the case. If that was complete, if I found the game that originally went with that bust and everything that was in that box,
Mm-hmm.
it's a $700 or $800 piece.
Same with that Hellgas helmet you have from Killzone that you can put the game case in in itself.
Yep.
Yeah, like that Hellgas helmet was from Killzone 3. You could just basically pop off the helmet and put like the game in there, and then
Yep.
Yeah, they did that with Halo as well. A whole bunch of ones.
yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, no. I feel like collecting is more acceptable nowadays than it was back when, back then.
Yeah, well, my parents they collected. Like my mom collected canning jars, and my dad collected antique tools. So like, people collect anything, marbles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they
Well,
collect.
but like for like nerd and geek stuff specifically, it's more common nowadays than it was
I
back
feel
then.
like collecting used to be more utilitarian.
Mhm.
It used to be more radios,
Yeah,
records, canning jars, tools.
and then now it's
And now it's like it's extended to what we thought growing up was like, oh, these are just toys kids play with. It's now extended
No.
to that.
Oh,
Right.
I mean, even then, like I always say, like that Green Goblin from the 2000 Spider-Man film where it came with the glider, you can take the mask off and it shows Norman's face. Like I said, I did research on that toy because it was like $20 from Toys R Us back in the day when I was a kid. Nowadays, and it's boxed with everything is like $200.
Mm.
It's crazy how stuff that we would collect as a kid that we would like play with, bang with, rip off an arm, chew, whatever. It's like it goes up in value, and like people are like, your serious collectors are wanting that now. It's like I don't want to
We
play
had
with
a
it.
Green Lantern ring that was a
Yeah.
throwaway ring in a
It's a Toys R-
crinkly plastic bag that was a Toys R Us exclusive that someone bought for like 97 cents on clearance before Toys R Us.
I remember when Toys R Us like was
just
going out of
sold for
business.
$80.
Yeah, that little ring sold for $80.
I remember the last time I ever went into a Toys R Us, and when I was living in California, like all the shelves were like completely gone. The only things they had for sale was like stuff that you just didn't really want. It was like all the way up front on one big long shelf, and it was just like cheap stuff you really weren't like. It was like stuff they were just gonna throw away.
Yeah, that was a sad day. I remember seeing it like that too a little bit.
But yeah, it's again like when it comes to like us, people collecting all this nerdy stuff, whether it's comics, t-shirts, mini stuff like this, like, and the thing is, you don't even have to be a nerd or a geek. You can just collect because in your mind it looks cool. Like half the stuff I own, I'm not a fan of, but it looks cool.
Right, I get that.
I mean, like when I bought this from you guys, like I don't know what the fuck this thing is, but it looked cool, and I wanted to buy it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
What is it?
I don't know.
It's a robotic penguin called. They're called PUs, and they're like you can buy like a
Okay.
total of like 12 of these for like a couple $100 online. But again, I don't know what this is. It looked cool and I wanted to buy it. Like, did I need it? No, but it looked cool.
Exactly. I get it.
But yeah, no, I think
It's
that
fun. It's fun here at the store.
yeah, no. And for those who are watching this, if you ever get the chance, highly recommend going down to the Retro Wormhole to see what they have because they may have something that because you guys have stuff that I haven't seen in years. Like I know I said this last
Right.
time when
Yeah,
I
that's
did
the
when I
point.
did when I did the other 2 interviews talking about the store. It's like for collectors in general, like I'm sure there's stuff that comes in the shop that you haven't seen in years, and you're like kind of shocked to see that. Wow, someone actually still has this.
Sometimes.
And then there's
Yeah,
stuff that we would expect to see more often that we never see.
Right.
Oh yeah, no. I think that should do it. Again, Nick and Dano, thank you for coming on to talk about not only your guys' collection, but the stuff that technically you've been collecting for the store, which I would count.
Well,
Right.
thank you for a
Thank
great
you.
interview, Wayne.
Oh no, always a pleasure having you guys on.
Thank you very much.
Oh, of course. And yeah, like I said, oh, real quick, Nick, would you like to promote the store by letting people know where they can find you on social media?
If you're going on Facebook or Instagram, those are our 2 primary spots where we engage with friends and customers. Just search the Retro Wormhole. We're pretty much the only one out there. Got to put the in front of it though. There might be some other guy trying to use Retro Wormhole. You can also go to retrowormhole.com. Retrowormhole.com is primarily music, vinyl, CDs, tapes, and digital. You can click through and go to our store website, which shows you pictures of the store. There's also an apparel site attached to that. But if you're looking at purchasing collectibles or seeing what we have, the best place to go is going to be Instagram and Facebook, where we are continually adding new pictures weekly of new arrivals, new stock.
Everybody come in. You guys have
See
something
something in a
new.
picture you want, if you see
Always
something in a
something new.
video that you want, you can always message us. Let us know that you're interested in it. We will ship it. We can take payment over the phone. I mentioned that the most expensive album we ever sold was a Taylor Swift album. Somehow, a nice woman in Mississippi found out we had it and called me and asked to buy it. So
Wow, so you guys are like known like statewide now.
I don't know that. I don't know about that, but word travels fast. People disseminate information pretty efficiently.
That's cool.
But yeah, no, seriously, thank you. And again, thank you for talking about your guys' collection. And like I said, the stores technically the stuff you guys get in the store is also a collectible. For like you said,
Absolutely.
for a short time, but it's still a collectible.
And cross your fingers. Hopefully, wherever your listeners are at, hopefully a Retro Wormhole store coming to them in the near future.
I mean,
We're
that'd
working
be
on
pretty cool to see a chain.
and speaking to the universe on expansion opportunities. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
But yeah, no, be sure to check them out. Do you guys have a TikTok as well?
We do. I haven't quite figured TikTok out yet. It's
Well, if you ever need help with TikTok,
Stop.
if you ever need help with TikTok, let me know. I'm familiar with TikTok.
Cool.
Okay.
And you guys have Twitter too, right? Or no Twitter yet?
I think there's a Twitter as well, but again, until I have full-time staffing for social media, we're
All
focused
right.
on
Well, if anyone ever wants to,
Instagram and
if anyone
Facebook.
ever wants to help, if anyone ever wants to help with social media for the Retro Wormhole, just be sure to get a hold of Nick or Julie.
Particularly if you're cheap.
Work for trade.
Also, if you
Off
plan,
record?
if you plan to steal from them, let them know.
Exactly.
As always, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening, and always thank you for watching. And also, don't forget to be kind and rewind.
Awesome. Thank you, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne.
Oh wait, no, wait, wrong one.